This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Good evening, friends, and welcome back to Paranormal StakeOut. I'm your host, Larry Lawson, coming to you from the mothership of paranormal programming, the X-Zone Broadcast Network. As always, it's my goal on this program to present to you, my listeners, with guests and commentary that will challenge your views in the paranormal. And tonight, folks, we go back into the trenches, back out there with an investigator who is out there weekly conducting research and investigations. Marla Scottie Burns is our guest tonight. Scottie, as she's known by her colleagues, became interested in the field of paranormal investigation and research when a team came to her 200-year-old home she lived in to investigate claims of the supernatural in 1968. She took special note of the scientific methods they employed and the processes they used. She continued to work in the paranormal using all available methods to conduct research in the 1970s. She was accepted into the parapsychology program at the Rhine Center of Duke University, but was unable to fulfill that dream due to the death of her father and family obligations. Yet her desire to investigate and continue researching moved on. After moving to Florida in 1997, Scottie became part of the Florida Ghost team later on, and then she joined up with her current team, War Party Paranormal, out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Scottie, welcome to the show. It's a real thrill to have you.
I'm glad to get the chance to talk to you and your listeners.
I appreciate that. Tell me, I find this really fascinating. Your 200-year-old home, you were obviously a youngster at the time. Tell us a little bit about how that got your interest peaked in the paranormal.
Well, growing up, when you're 4, 5, 6, when you live there, you don't think anything's out of the ordinary. Rocking chairs were rocking, doors were opening and closing. You'd see mist forming out of the corner of your eyes, and when you're that young, you don't really, think to be afraid or anything. And, eventually when, it came to pass when I started grade school, when I started to have friends coming over and, having them freaking out at like 9 o'clock at night, calling their parents to come get them because, they wouldn't stay there. That's when I started to realize that, maybe that wasn't really normal for other people. So that's when, my mother decided to have the team from Harrisburg come in 68, and that's the first time I saw any of this, anything being scientifically employed or any kind of methods that were, rather than just, sitting there and watching it. So that was pretty interesting.
So how old were you? Yeah, how old were you at the time? 4 or 5, you said?
I was 8 when they came in.
Okay. And they were from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, so I know that neck of the woods pretty well. What happened after that with your career in the paranormal?
Well, I was very interested in it, and I kept up with it. And I mean, back then in the late 60s, early 70s, it was pretty much you read Hans Holzer, and in my house, we had the Encyclopedia Britannica, but we also had the Time Life series on the supernatural. So, I mean, everything came around, and it was just something that always fascinated me. So I started doing experiments in the house and going out and helping other people who, knew about our house, because our house was rather famous, known for being haunted.
Okay.
So we had other people come out and you know, ask me to go to their houses and see what was going on there.
So when did you formally start investigating regularly, shall we say? How old were you?
Once I was able to drive, when I was 16, I was out, on my own investigating other places. I can remember being 16 years old, throwing the old reel-to-reel and the Brownie camera in my car and going to Gettysburg.
Spent a lot of good times there, I'll bet.
I had fun.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just said I had fun going there because it wasn't that far away, and it wasn't the norm back then. People thought you were crazy. Well, people still think I'm crazy, but that's beside the point.
That's a subject for a different day. As we wind down to our first break, I want to ask you just real quick, tech and equipment, how much have they changed since you first started this in the late 60s, early 70s?
The equipment, it's getting better, but it's still, audio and video. Those are the real things that are still the same. The technology is better, but the basic premise is still the same. It's audio and video. We got lights that flash and do everything else now, but there's still nothing like getting a good picture or a good clip of video or a good EVP to prove it.
Well, when we come back, I got more to talk to you about. See you on the other side, folks. Paranormal.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, And of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout. I'm Larry Lawson with tonight's guest, Marla Scottie Burns from War Party Paranormal. Do want to make a quick mention of War Party Paranormal's website. It's warpartyparanormalresearch.com. So I want to encourage everybody to take a minute and go out and look at their website. So, Scottie, getting back to your investigations, things that you've done, we talked a little bit about equipment. I want to spend a couple seconds talking about where you think we need to go to improve the equipment. I agree with you. It seems like we are spending, we're still doing the video, we're still doing the photographs, certainly the EVPs. What do we need to do to improve, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, the technology is always getting better, but we still have to figure out what exactly the ghost or is it when once we figure that out, we'll have a much better idea of how to capture it on any device. I mean,
Absolutely.
Is it energy? Is it electromagnetic fields? We don't really know, and until we actually know that, I mean, we have thermal cameras. Sometimes we get lucky and get hits on those, but it's not really until we really know what it consists of, it's going to be really hard to, say what equipment we're going to be using.
And I agree. That's the one thing that I've been preaching. I was just speaking with a friend earlier tonight about all this is still theory. Let's face it. We've gotten our pictures, we've gotten our EVPs, we've gotten hits on our equipment, but so much of this is still theory. And we've got so far to go to find out, like you said, what it really is. Along those lines, what is your personal opinion of what a ghost is?
My personal opinion is I've been reading about this for a long time, and I was reading about where this guy back in some doctor in a prison was doing studies on the weight loss when they executed the prisoners, and he said it was always like 0.21 of an ounce that they lost at the instant of death. And so that brings up the question, does the soul have weight? And if so, is it energy? Does energy have weight? It's just amazing all the different things that come into play when you start thinking about the afterlife, because energy never dies. So are we made up of energy? Are we made up of vibration? Are we made up of, or is our soul, or what passes for our soul, what's it made up of?
Do you have an opinion yourself on what you think it is?
I think it's a cross between energy vibration, but I mean, you can also get into, string theory and quantum physics where it's like, is there that veil? Is that veil? Is that just another dimension that we're not able to see? But I think that our spirit, our souls are made up of energy, which is translated sometimes into vibration.
Okay. We've all heard the stories of people that have almost passed to the other side, saw the light, for whatever reason were pulled back. How does that fit into your theory at all? Or do you think that's just a phenomenon people go through and there's no reality to it? Do you have a thought on that?
I've done a lot of research on those who are brought back, who've seen the light. And, there's also the other side where people who have suicided have seen a totally different version of the afterlife. And that could be psychological, but there's enough evidence that shows, I believe, that there is something beyond death. Absolutely. Whether it is, some people say, you go to that light and that's just you coming out of another birth canal to be reborn.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different theories out there, but I believe that some people are reincarnated. I've seen a lot of evidence. Like a kid from Germany who's 5 years old speaking perfect, Latin. It's like, how did he learn that? What did he, I don't get that.
And my favorite story along those lines is a young kid that at age 4 and 5 could tell the difference between certain aircraft from the Second World War when he'd never been exposed to it. So I agree with you completely that there is something else on the other side. It's just we don't know what it is. And that's really where I'm coming from as an investigator myself, trying to find out what that is and keeping an open mind as to what it may or may not be, because none of us really know. What is
Absolutely.
Okay, another interesting theory. It's kind of a bugaboo of mine. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm not a big fan of it, but that's the connection between UFOs and ghosts. Now, I'm not talking about a dimensional tear. I'm talking about a direct connection between UFOs and ghosts. What do you got an opinion on that one?
No, I don't think UFOs have anything to do with ghosts.
Okay.
Well, that's just like, you want to get into UFOs, that's a whole nother level of, paranormal, which is exactly what UFOs and cryptids, they're all paranormal in their own way.
Sure.
But sure. I'm pretty sure UFOs don't have anything to do with the paranormal. I'm pretty sure they're not like, they're not reincarnating people. I'm kind of taking almost an informal
poll with my guests on this issue because of that subject has cropped up a couple times with people that have directly equated ghosts with a UFO. Now, one subject, and I'll get your opinion on this too, that I find interesting is the possible dimensional tear that might be bringing them both together at the same time. Any thoughts on that? Not that they're directly connected, but just maybe the atmospheric conditions, something along those lines. Any thoughts?
You know what? As far as UFOs go, I don't know if there is any dimensional terror. I mean, if they are that far advanced, I'm pretty sure they're not tearing through dimensions to get here.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's. But then again, they may, if they can come, light years in days. They might be able to tear through dimensions, but I'm still not seeing a correlation between UFO sightings and paranormal activity kicking up in any significant areas. You know what I mean?
Oh,
there's no correlation between the two in any scientific manner.
Okay, that's the opinion. I wanted to get that from you. As I said, I'm kind of taking an informal poll of my guests based upon some of the stuff that I've been hearing, and I wanted to see how well accepted it was.
Yeah,
let's
well,
get
that's what I'm saying. Is if you can find a correlation between UFO sightings and increased, hauntings or ghost sightings, then maybe it's something to talk about. But until you can correlate the two, I don't think so.
okay. That's what let's you mentioned to me once about the relationship between ghosts and animals or ghosts of animals. Where's your feelings on that?
Well, I've seen some ghost animals, and there are a lot of famous ghost animals that are known to haunt places. But when we go in as investigators, also when we go to a client's home, a lot of times when they have animals, that's always one of the questions I ask is, are the animals acting any different? Because a lot of times the animals will be sensing something before the people do.
Right. Right.
But then there's also, cats will sit and stare at a wall for 15 minutes when there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm. So your theory there is they just have a heightened sense of a heightened sense to predict or see these things, is what you're basically saying.
I believe that animals do have a heightened sense and are able to connect more to what actually, more nature, because ghosts are a natural part of, the life cycle, just like they say animals can predict earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
They have a heightened awareness to certain things. Do all animals have this? I don't know. My dog is pretty stupid. I mean, he's a good boy, but he's not. I could take him into a haunted place and he'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? I don't know what's going on." But I've seen some animals that are, in clients' homes we've gone into, that are very aware of something going on. So it's just
speaking
like
of sites, tell me your scariest investigation, your best investigation, however you want to put it, and its location.
The scariest one I probably did was probably one of the first ones, because it scared me the most, because I was not prepared for it at all. I went into, it was up in Pennsylvania, up in central Pennsylvania. It was an old farmhouse. And one of my friend's grandparents, they'd lived there, and they had a lot of really, really weird stuff going on. They had doors slamming. They were hearing like what they called demon voices, and their animals would not go in certain rooms. And I was I think 19, 20 at the time, and nobody else was really doing this. So I went over and I did some investigating, and when you're that young, you think I can do this. And I went in with my holy water and the Bible, and I was chasing it around and clearing rooms and stuff. And it smelled of brimstone. It was really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it down. I was down in the kitchen, and I was trying to get it out the back door so I could seal up the house. And about that time, there was a knife on the counter, and it flew right at me. It went about 5 feet from me, but it was like, at that point, I was just like totally flummoxed. I was like, wait, what? Did that knife just really throw at me off the counter? Nobody else was in the kitchen. Nobody else was even in the house. I had them leave. And,
mm-hmm.
I was in that house all by myself, and I thought that, I can remember that I thought that I was just a bomb back then. I thought because nobody else was doing it. I thought I knew everything, and I got really mad. I got really mad at it, and
Okay.
I started going off on it, and that was I think it was a lot more scary because I was alone. When something like that
Gotcha.
happens and you're alone, that's
Yeah.
pretty
That's pretty
scary.
bad, yeah. Well, when we come back after this next break, we've talked a little bit about your theories, some of your beliefs. When we come back after this next break, Scottie, I want to talk to you a little bit about subject dear to my heart, and that's training and structure as far as investigations and all of us coming together for the purpose of getting sophisticated, positive investigations. So when we get back at this after this next break, you and I talk about that a little bit, okay?
Absolutely.
So, all right. So with that, folks, we're going to take us a quick break. Join us on the other side. This is Paranormal Stakeout with Larry Lawson. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best. And welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout. Larry Lawson, your host, and I'm here with our guest, Scottie Burns. Scottie, fascinating conversation about your theories and whatnot. And I want to now get to that subject that's really, really kind of important to me, and that's the training. Now, like most of us, I'm assuming when you started out in the field of investigation, you had no formal training. Am I correct?
Yeah, there really wasn't any formal training to be had. There was nobody else really doing it other than reading the books, like I said, by Hans Holzer, and
Mhm.
doing it what I could.
Well, what I am trying to what I'm trying to establish or help the industry establish, is some sort of training structure, if you will. I'd like to know what your feelings on that. And my view is I take it from the kind of the law enforcement angle of, we go through training and we conduct investigations. Granted, people have different styles, but essentially the structures are the same. And we do that in order to have, investigations that are prosecutable. They follow a certain pattern. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, consistency is key. And when we train somebody, our team right now is we're mostly veterans, and we do take new members in on occasion who have little or no training, and we train them our way, which is what we find is the best, and that consists of when you go in, how you do the client interview, and there's a lot of different aspects to doing a client interview.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things are things that we train on specifically, because most times you're going to find that there's really not much paranormal going on in the home after you do a full interview. And
so
when
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when we go in and do a preliminary, that's when we really get to the bones of it. And when we take new investigators through this process, we mentor them every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a period of time, for example, do they go through X so many hours of pre-investigative training and then so many hours of perhaps mentorship or field training, as we call it in the police business? Do you do anything like that at all?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We do. It's not as necessarily hours, but because every person's different. Every trainee is different, and to get them up to our standards is that some people may take, a couple weeks. Some people may take a couple months. It depends on the person and the personality type. And unfortunately, not everybody is a fit, for our team. So that's another thing we have to look at. And we can usually tell pretty early if somebody is going to be able to fit in with our team, because it's a team and it has to work as one.
Okay. Well, then I got a kind of a two-sided question for you. A, how do people come to you, and how do you decide whether or not to give them a chance, bring them into your training program, if you will? What's your process there?
Well, we meet a lot of people. We do some public events, and that's when a lot of people show an interest in joining the team. And we try to keep our team at a certain level, and we don't take a lot of new members. But when we do, it's usually somebody that we've agreed that, John and I, or, the team, we bring them in, introduce them, and take them on a field test and see how they do investigating at one of our locations that we use for field training. And that usually gives us a pretty good idea right then and there whether they're going to be able to fit in or not.
Now, as we both know, we'll get people that'll come forward that A, are just looking for a cheap thrill, or they might have some other perhaps mental health issues, but also issues that they might have a background that would be undesirable for you to put on your team and take into somebody's home. Do you do any kind of vetting along those lines?
Yeah, we do. We actually can run background checks, and we also do a lot of, asking around about people,
Hmm.
because this community is pretty small when it comes right down to it. The paranormal community is, and we're pretty tight with a lot of other teams around here. We all work together. For us, paranormal unity is not just a saying, it's something that we actually do. And you can tell, I mean, like, we talk a lot. We know that it's like, especially like clients. Clients will come and they'll say, well, I have this, and that going on. And we'll find out from another team that they had already investigated, and, the client didn't hear what they wanted to hear from that team, so they went team shopping to find somebody who's going to tell them what they wanted to hear.
And then we just pass the word if that happens between our groups. I agree. So we've now got somebody in your team. You've got a team. You've got your team going. You're conducting an investigation. Can you talk to my listeners about how you guys, how your team, War Party Paranormal, collects your evidence, how you store it, how you present it? Do you have a process for that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, we do. We usually, well, the first thing we'll do is we want to have one of our client specialists do an interview, and then they will brief us on, the specifics. Then we will send in a team to do a preliminary investigation to see if further evidence, if a further investigation is required. And if a further investigation is required, then we'll go in with a full team, not 20 people, but we'll go in with, 5 or 6 people. We'll go in, we collect what evidence we can. We share that. We have our own private Dropbox and stuff in our website where we go and we collect the evidence. And then we have, the people who have specific jobs at that investigation. They will write up their reports, and then we will go back and give the client the evidence. But if another investigation is warranted, we'll go back and we'll, share a little bit of that evidence and, impress upon them the need for another investigation. But sometimes we can actually, with the equipment we have now, we can actually pretty much go in and first time around figure out what's going on there and give the client, some steps to take to help them if it is paranormal.
Do you keep a bank of your evidence? Something like I would do with the evidence room in a police department, take my evidence and put it into a locked area. Do you have anything like that where you collect your photographs, your videos, your EVPs in one central location?
Yeah, we have that. We have a site where we put all our evidence, and that's where we store it, and we have it filed under case numbers and such, so that we know who and what case it is, and there's the evidence.
Okay. Now, if there was to be a national repository, and there's a group of us that have been talking about this, but some sort of repository with which you could share that evidence, is that something that you feel would be beneficial to the industry as a whole?
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be very beneficial. And, as long as, because a lot of times when you're doing client cases, as long as you respect their anonymity, going by case file numbers instead of names. Yeah. And as long as, they're apprised of it, but I think that would be a great help to the community.
Well, and I also think that it would help all of us by sharing information, helping all of us in the field to connect cases. Because if we want to go with that energy theory or how spirits travel, they could technically pop up anywhere. And who knows where this evidence in West Palm Beach, Florida might be similar to something up in Hamilton, Ontario. So that's one reason why I think it's so very important. Now, you get a photograph or something like that. You get a photograph with an anomaly on it of some sort. Do you guys have a process that you go through to verify it? Equipment or applications or whatever?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We actually have a couple professional photographers on our team who actually get, evidence from other teams sent to them to verify and debunk. So we do that with some of our evidence. We send it out to other people, but we have a pretty good team. So we've got that pretty much in the bag.
How many's on your team right now?
Right now we have 10.
And those are regular members that will usually come out to investigations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually have, we have a core group that will show up for, anything.
Okay. Well, one of the places that I know you go to, it's the Gulfstream Hotel. Tell me the best piece of evidence you've gotten out of there.
The best piece of evidence, we've gotten some really interesting things. One of the best pieces of evidence was, we just got it like 2 weeks ago. We were up in room 301, and John Zapp was asking, what do you like to drink? And clear as a bell came out brandy. And it was like, wow, that was pretty good. But I mean, there's evidence to be had. We just got a 360. So we're going to actually try that out tomorrow night.
That'll be interesting. Now, and of course, what's important to me is once you get that evidence, being able to share it with other folks. So I'm going to talk to you further as we do some investigations ourselves. I want to talk to you further in the future about that repository that I think is going to be so very important. We get back here in a few more minutes, I got a couple other questions that I really want to ask you. Total teams, though, I want to know how many teams are in your area right now, and is the area saturated? That's a question I want to know. How many teams are out there actually doing investigations in the West Palm area?
Actually, there's really only us. I mean,
Okay.
Gold Coast Paranormal, and you get down farther, you got, Paranormal Consulting Agency. But,
Okay.
I mean, the ones that are truly active and are networking, I mean, we network with groups all over Florida, from Tampa to Fort Myers to St. Augustine to Orlando.
And of course, Fellsmere Vero Beach,
there's
right?
a lot of them. And of course, Vero Beach.
That's
Can't
right.
let them out.
Well, we're about ready to take our last break here, Scottie. When we come back, I got a couple more things I'm dying to ask you. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Folks, we're going to take this final break, and we'll be back on the other side. This is Paranormal Stakeout. Stay with us.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout for our final segment tonight with Marla Scottie Burns of War Party Paranormal. Please visit her website at www.warpartyparanormalresearch.com, and don't forget all of the other fantastic programs that you're going to find on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Visit us at www.xzbn.net for program schedules of all your favorite shows. I'd also like you to take some time and visit me at www.paranormalstakeout.com or www.paranormalfbi.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigations. Well, Scottie, as we begin to wind down our time together tonight, I'm going to ask you a real pointed question. Somebody walks up to you and says, "You're making it up. This is all a hoax. There's no such thing as ghosts. Any pictures you have can't be real." What do you say?
Well, you know what? Everybody has their opinion, and that's fine. I'm not asking you to believe. I'm telling you what I know, and you know what? I've met a lot of skeptics who have, been skeptical until they call us in and they have a problem in their house.
Okay. Uh, what is the most how to put this? The most aggressive person you've dealt with that just flat did not believe? You ever had
Oh, I've met some. You know, unfortunately, most of them tend to be either very, very religious
Mhm.
or totally atheist, and they're the ones that I ran into one who was a very religious person, and all they told me that was that I was going to go to hell because I was dabbling in dark arts. Go figure.
You know, well, it's interesting. I in a member of my family. I'll not name which member, just out of respect for them, who happens to be a member of the Catholic Church and a deacon, said to me one time, Larry, you're not really doing anything different than talking to Mary or the other saints. As long as you're not doing anything to provoke or uh, bring something dark into it, I don't see the harm in it. So that's interesting that you can get both sides of that from the religious. Now I notice you, when you go to investigation, you have holy water and you use sage. So you obviously believe that there's something out there that can harm us that we need to be protected from. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot to be, but a lot of it I believe is in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
You can go into something and be, if you put it out there with the holy water and stuff, people will a lot more believe that they're protected than if they, if there's no, I don't want to say props, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to go with the person's religious beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and when we do an investigation or whatever, we have to take that into account, the client's, religious beliefs.
Well, how
So,
about you
yeah, I
though?
use holy water.
Why
I
do you
use
use holy
sage. I
water? Why
use
do you
whatever
use
I
it?
can.
And for what reason? Why do you use holy water?
I use holy water for the simple fact that it is commonly believed to be a deterrent, and there's a big power in belief.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do I
All right.
believe it? Absolutely. Because there is so much energy vibrating around people's beliefs.
Okay. Well, and I agree with you, and I have holy water in my investigations. That's my personal belief system, and that's a whole big part of this as to why a lot of us are even involved in this, because of our personal belief system. So I totally agree with you. Tell me something, Scottie. Who out there inspires you? Who inspires you to do this, and who inspires you to be better?
Well, I have a lot of inspirations. I try to surround myself with people who inspire me to do better, to be better, to find new ways to do things. I mean, Zap is always working to try and find something better. Rob Demarest is also a big inspiration for me because he's so well traveled and he had a similar childhood to mine. And, he's always connecting with other people and, bringing new ideas in because, new ideas and new technology are what the future of paranormal investigating is going to be about.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I'm searching for folks. I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking for angles, if you will, on creating this new technology, because I believe that's to prove our theories scientifically, we have to improve our techniques and our equipment, and that's one reason why I'm really pushing for structure and standards within our field, so that we can get better. That's my bugaboo, my goal in all this.
Yeah, well, that's one of the nice things about having the Gulfstream, the grand old lady, as we call her.
Mm-hmm.
We go there twice a week, and we're always trying out new equipment, but it's also the same place. We're doing the same things, and that's one of the few ways we're going to actually get any scientific evidence, because scientific evidence has to be repeatable. So if we go to the same place, the same times, and get the same evidence, then that's a good precursor to say that, maybe there is some science to this.
And I think getting organizations that conduct appropriate scientific investigations into places like the Gulf Stream, the old school in Fellsmere, places like that is how we're going to continue to get quantifiable, consistent information. So you and I are on the same wavelength there, and I'm going to ask you to join me as we continue to strive for that consistency and structure in investigations. Kind of one of my last questions here I want to ask you. I want to know, Scottie Burns, your favorite location, why it's your favorite location, and what evidence you've gotten out of there.
Well, it goes by the years. I mean, if you would have asked me 20, 30 years ago, I would have told you it was Gettysburg. If you would have asked me 40 years ago, I would have said it was the house I grew up in. Right now, I mean, a couple of years ago, we used to do the Lake Worth Playhouse a lot, and we got some really good evidence out of there. But right now, my favorite is the Gulf Stream. I also really like Ortona Cemetery. And
yeah, that's a
we've
creepy
gotten,
place.
Ortona's pretty interesting. I did get that picture that I wanted to show you. I got that. I will text that to you. But a lot of the things, the evidence doesn't always match up with what we experience. A lot of times we were in the Gulf Stream. We were up on the 3rd floor, and we heard a woman scream, like a terrified scream, but none of our equipment caught it, but we heard it with our ears. So do I have evidence of it? No. But were there 5 of us there that heard it? Yeah. One of our members, Tim Yancey, he was there a couple of weeks ago, and Tim doesn't get scared by much, but he went down to the end of the hallway on the 3rd floor, and something rushed him, and he had goosebumps. He was a little taken aback by it, which was awesome.
How often do you bring other groups into the Gulf Stream?
As often as we can. I really like getting together with other groups and seeing how they investigate, and giving them an opportunity to come investigate the Gulf Stream to see if their evidence that they get corroborates with what we get out of there on a consistent basis.
And I believe you've got an event coming up shortly there, don't you?
We just had it last week. We had it last Saturday.
Last Saturday. Oh, a week behind. Sorry about that. Do you know when your next event at the Gulf Stream is going to be?
We're trying to set one up for the 28th and the 29th up in Fellsmere.
That's right. I was hoping you'd bring that up. Yeah, you'll be in the Gulf Stream the 28th of April, coming up to my neck of the woods, Fellsmere, Florida, at the old school on the 29th, and we're looking forward to that.
I do want to say one thing. You and I are extremely lucky in the fact that we have a consistent place to go and do investigations. A lot of teams aren't that lucky. They don't have a place that they can go to consistently try and get, evidence. And I'm really grateful that, people like you and I are able to do that.
Well, we are fortunate. In fact, part of my plan for the future is to even create Fellsmere as kind of a paranormal laboratory, having groups like you and other organizations come up and be part of some structured investigation. So looking forward to having more party back up in my neck of the woods. And it looks like we are just about out of time. And Scottie, I want to thank you for being part of the show tonight. Great information. Thanks for sharing with us. And folks, once again, check us out at www.xzbn.net for all programming needs on the X Zone Broadcast Network. It's been a great time tonight. Thanks for joining us, folks. We will see you on the other side.